West Tigers fans, we head to Magic Round and we're playing against a team that we have a 50% win rate against. Will that mean anything when the game starts on Sunday evening? Probably not, but let's talk about the game on another episode of the WestsLife podcast. And welcome into another episode of the WestsLife podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett. Please give us a follow at WestsLife Pod, Instagram and Twitter, and at westtigers.com.au. You'll find our link tree, or you'll find in our Instagram and Twitter profile pages, link to everything that we do, including our YouTube as well. We've cracked the 1,000 subscribers again, as we announced on Monday's show. Thank you to everyone who is part of that 1,000 club. We appreciate you, and we can see lots of our regulars on the YouTube stream coming in tonight, supporting the show again. We appreciate it. And patreon.com/WestsLife. We'll get to our Patreon guys and girls rants / questions later in the show. But first up, to preview the Magic Round match against the Dolphins, I have a couple of boys with me, and I'll go to my usual right-hand man, the stats man, Aaron Thompson. How are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day to our guest, and g'day everyone who's watching or listening. I'm pretty good tonight, mate. It's a well-known theme that we've been quite the underdog for all previous Magic Rounds, but we're 3 wins and 1 loss, so who knows? Maybe there's another magical miracle that Benji's planning to pull out of a hat this weekend.
Yeah, sometimes the Magic Round does throw up some curveballs. The magic, it is a bit the magic of the round, a neutral venue, but we'll see what happens. And I've lost count how many times this guy has been on the show, and as he unmutes himself, I'll bring him in. That's all right, Joel. I was going to use the intro, the man that brings a bit of professionalism to this show, because you're an actual proper broadcaster, but that's all right. Fitting in perfectly. Yeah. Welcome back to the WestsLife podcast, buddy.
Thank you. And yeah, I'm actually not too sure. I don't think I've been back on this year, but there's a few times last year. It was a bit of fun. And I think the first time I ever came on this show was like after a thrashing we had. Yeah, probably. And it was like, I was here for a massive rant.
One of the vent pods, yeah.
Probably event pod. We haven't done an event pod. Haven't done an event pod in a while. It's getting that way. We haven't done one for a while. They were pretty popular, I think, back in the day.
I just think that this year everyone's a little bit more like, yeah, all right, we're sort of now know we're looking at 2025, and I feel like venting might not really happen until next year if things don't go our way.
Yeah.
This year, probably not so much.
Yeah, I think the lack of venting this year for us is we went into this season, look, we got what we wanted in terms of management being overthrown and completely stripped. And we got a man in Shannon Richardson who we really enjoy. So we feel like, I guess, on this show that the club is heading in the right direction, even though we haven't won as many games as we like. As we haven't had you on the show since last year, Joel, how are you feeling about the club and the direction it's heading in, even off the field?
Well, yeah, I think off the field through the off season was probably the best we've had in a long time. Massive clean out, everything changed for the better. We're looking at the future. We're buying really good players, I think. We've got some great kids coming through. I see a lot of potential now. The last few years I've been so concerned, and I kept saying like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. And maybe deep down I really believe that, but this time I definitely do. And I know that this year's not going to be great for us. And I think we'll still have some wins. I know we'll talk about the team later, and there's like 50 players are out, so we're going to struggle. But looking forward, we will win a few more games this year. But looking toward next year, I think we're in a really, really good spot.
Can't disagree with any of that. Righto, Sunday evening, 6:15. I think, have I got that right? As I should know the kickoff time, 6:15 for this one.
It's either 6:15 or 6:25. I think
Yeah.
sometimes they add a
You
few
you
extra
guys will
minutes
figure it out. Check your local guides.
Just turn the TV on at 6 and then
What are we doing? Previewing the show? You figure out the time for yourself. As run us through the team list for the West Tigers in this game.
No worries. So obviously a few forced changes. We start with Jareem Buller at fullback. Charlie Staines is on the wing, and Solomon Aliamalo is back. Brent Naden and Justin Olam in the centres, with Lockie Galvin and Jaden Sullivan in the halves. Stefano Utoikamanu and David Clemmer are the props, with Abby Coruscant at hooker. Samuela Fainu is in the second row with Alex Seyfarth, who's moved there. Alex Twal comes in as the new player at lock. The bench is Jake Simpkin, Fonua Pole, Asu Kepaoa, and debutant Sione Fainu. 18th man is Talon De Silva. The rest of the reserves are Solomona Fa'atape, Alex Lobb, Kit Lauli'i, and Tony Suka.
Beautiful. As I'm just going to comment about my audio. Am I sounding loud and clear?
Yeah, yours is fine. I've heard a few little like glitchy sort of sound effects coming from Joel's.
From Joel's, okay. He's taken.
I don't know if everyone else is.
Yeah, I think yours is a bit
at
glitchy.
all.
I was hoping that Joel, yours is a bit glitchy, man. I don't know
all right.
what you can do about that. But as while Joel figures that out, what obviously the big changes for this week's obviously the outside backs, obviously Stafford Toa, unfortunately out, and we made the shuffles during the game last week. What are your thoughts of Naden back to the centres and Ale Marlo coming back in?
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected in regards to Brent back in the centres. We probably don't think that's his best position, and that's understandable. Defensively, I think that's where his issues are, but I don't mind him in the centres. I think he offers a bit in attack there. Start playing the whole game there would probably be better than starting on the wing and then shifting mid-game, so we'll see how that sort of goes for him. I wasn't sure if Solomon would be coming back in or if we'd see maybe a different player make their way onto the wing, but Solomon I can't really say he put a foot wrong in the few games he's played so far, so I'm quite happy to see him get another chance back on the wings.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen so many negative comments about Brent Naden from fans and saying they never want him to play. I know he had an absolute Barry Crocker on Monday, but him back in the centres with Charlie, like I'm happy for him to be back there. I think him and Olam are our best centers. I maintain that, despite last week's performance. Joel, any thoughts on our backline in this one?
I mean, it's the best we have at the moment, I think, all things considered. I think, I agree with most people that Naden did have a shocker last week, but hopefully that's him just getting that game out of the way. He's been playing good in the lower grade. He did.
Your audio, Joel, your audio's roboting on us again.
No good.
Yeah, not sure. Might be maybe restart your browser or something.
I will.
So here we go.
I'll disappear for a sec and see you soon.
Oh yeah, okay. No worries. The traditions. It's every show. As you and I finally touch wood. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah, don't jinx it. Whatever you do, Josh.
Yeah. Ours seems to be going all right. So we'll move on to what else of the changes we got. So obviously in the back row, no Johnny Bateman and no Papa. Obviously they took the early guilty plea with Papa as.
Yep. So this is a brand new second row combination. So Samuel Fainu on one side and Alex Seyfarth getting the start on the other. I think Samuela, it seems like he doesn't have a problem playing either side of the field. So you can kind of throw him in whichever one you need to. I think they've kind of put him around Seyfarth and the side of the field that suits Seyfarth a little bit better. I'm a little bit unsure about Seyfarth as a starter. We've had some good and bad games from him coming off the bench. It can be a little bit hit or miss. Obviously, the other big one at the back there is Alex Twal, the new man in number 13. I think this works defensively
Mm.
because as I am quite frequently pointing out, the Great Wall of Twal hardly ever misses a tackle. So it's a great move for the defense, but he doesn't offer as much playing the ball as I think an Isaiah Papali'i would. But the defense obviously is a lot better than Isaiah's. So it's a little bit of an interesting, I guess, sort of lineup in that back row there with the 11, 12, and 13. I'm interested to see how it goes. Obviously, we've got some players on the bench that can come in and fill a few different positions there, which helps out as well.
Yeah, Twally, I mean, he was wearing the 13 a lot with, was it with Madge? Was it Madge or Sheens that would have him at lock all the time?
I
Trying to
think
the last
maybe
few.
Madge played him there a game or two.
Yeah, I feel like he was there quite a lot because I remember people thinking that he's not really a ball player and that sort of thing. So, like you said, attacking wise, I mean, yeah, I mean, all respect to Twally, he's the Great Wall of Twal, as you call him, but not. And people have bagged out Bateman, but I think people don't realise an attack on the edge, and same with Papa as well. They have been better than people expected. So, yeah, we'll see how Big Red goes in this one. Samuela is getting better and better every week, so I feel good about him in the back row.
I will say though, Twal does have a really good offload on him, and that is something that can't be understated from that position. When you can offload the ball either way and hopefully create a few more second phase options from the second rowers further out.
Trevor on Facebook says, "Really want to see Twally score another try." You know what? For the bets this week, I was thinking Twally. Yeah, could it be? I think it was your prediction last year as that he'd score at Magic Round. You haven't said it this year, but if he's playing at the 13, it's as good as chance that he's had. So I don't know. Hopefully Andrew Voss is on our call and Twally can get over. That would be magical.
I tell you what, though, it's not a bad shout for Twal for playing in number 13 to potentially score a try. Obviously, the 13 gets a bit more of a chance to run at the halves than the second rowers or the props do. So that could work out for him because the two Dolphins halves are not big boys. So there is a bit of an opportunity there to maybe get a barge over try over the top of them. Yeah, I think I don't remember when I said Twal would score. When we did our preseason prediction survey, I did go out on a limb and say Twal would triple his try scoring tally. So far, that's not looking all that great, but he does only have to score 2 tries, and there is still more than half a season to go, so you never know.
Righto, we'll see how I'm going to do. Let Joel back in here. How'd you go, Joel?
Fingers crossed that's better.
Yeah, that sounds good so far.
Okay, well, can we end the show here? Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Great night.
No, sounding good now, man. We're talking about Twally at lock and Seyfarth on the edge. What are your thoughts on this one?
Look, I am probably not Seyfarth's biggest fan. I know he does a lot of work for us, but I do think he also is prone to a bit of a hot head and giving away a few penalties.
Yeah, we're getting robots again. Sorry, Joel. Not sure what's. Yeah, it's probably something to do with, I don't know, internet connection or something. I'm not sure.
Sounds like it might be. I'll try one time.
Okay. As we'll move on and we'll talk Jakey Simpkin coming off the bench as well. How do you think they'll use Appy and Jakey rotating wise this week?
I have a feeling we'll probably see a little bit more of what we've seen so far. Apologies. We should also mention Appy's playing game number 200 this weekend. So massive.
I feel like the club hasn't promoted this I haven't seen the club promote this yet. So when you said this, no, someone said it in our Discord and I had no idea. So
the club posted about it, and I think they've done some sort of Appy bobblehead if you spend a certain amount of money at the Raw store over the weekend or something along those lines. But I'm pretty sure the club did make a post of some sort. I thought I saw something from the club, but yeah, Jake obviously offers a lot of ability at dummy half off the bench. I think bringing him on in the middle of the game against a tired, potentially sort of tiring forward pack, and then bringing Appy on late when the interchanges have been one and done, and gives a little bit more potential there too. So
Kepa Owa coming on to the bench. I guess the positive with Kepa Owa, he can plug either in the backs or the forwards. So, yeah, if someone does go down, do you think Benji might use Kepa? Because with Sione Fainu as well, like it's a bench this week that, how like what Benji's going to do with it, I don't know. Obviously, Fanua Pole will sub in the front row rotation. How do you think he's going to use Kepa Owa as?
Yeah, I kind of expected Kepa Owa to come back in, considering our second row was pretty decimated after last weekend. Obviously, long-term injury to Bateman. I thought Asu kind of was almost the shoe-in to come back into the team. He might sort of be used, I guess, if one of the two second rowers needs a bit of a rest. Obviously, Samuela hasn't played a full game yet, so he kind of he can fill in that position there if Samuela needs a break, or if one of those guys has to go off HIA, then he can come in, or potentially if Twal, or when Twal needs a break, Fanua Pole comes in that position there. There's a few different sort of roles that Asu can play.
Just saw Mark on the YouTube. He said the mic happens when the onboard hard drive is full. CPU wobbles and your computer needs a disk cleanup. So, could my audio issues have always been that I have 6,000 tabs open? Could that be my issue? But Joel, IT wise, what have you tried?
We're trying a hotspot. What is a Telstra hotspot? So, how is that sounding?
Sounding pretty good. Good on you, Telstra. If you're out there.
Good shout out. Thanks, Mark. Actually, I think he's right. I'm using an older computer tonight. My other one's playing up, so they're both playing up. How fun! This one is like so old; it's full of photos and whatnot. So it could be that, but it also could just be the internet.
Asua Kepa Owa coming off the bench. Joel, thoughts on that one?
Yeah. Look, he probably doesn't have as many good games as he does bad games. I feel like, it's tough because, again, and I'm sure you guys have spoken about this, we are just decimated with injuries and suspensions and all that sort of stuff. So he sort of has to come in. But yeah, I don't know. I do hope he has a better game than he has previously. Fingers crossed.
And Sione Fainu making his debut as exciting for our third Fainu debut.
Yeah, this one's the really exciting one. I thought he'd be a chance early season, but it seemed like he was carrying a bit of a niggle. It's a shame he doesn't get to play alongside both of his brothers at the club, but I mean, he gets to line up alongside Sam Weller, and I think that's going to be really exciting. Bit kind of strange, I guess, that the second oldest of the four brothers is the last of them to debut, but I'm really happy for him to get his go. I hope he absolutely kills it out there on Sunday night.
How do you think Benji will use him as?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what his position is. I'm assuming potentially prop second row. Maybe he can fill a couple of holes there. Joel, do you know much about Sione and what position he plays?
I don't, but that was my thought as well. Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have Simkin on the bench and then Kepa Owa, who's obviously not a front rower. He's a back rower / outside back. So you would think he'll use him. He surely has to go in the front row rotation. I don't think he's expecting to play Steph 80 minutes.
Yeah, I think if there's another injury or concussion or something in the backs, then Asu's the one that can kind of swing out to the centers or swing into the centers if a center needs to move to a wing or something along those lines. And there's a bit of utility value there because he can play second row as well as those outside back positions, which probably leaves Pole and Sione to bring up most of the front row work and the lock work, because I'm not 100% sure how many minutes Twal will play. I reckon he might play maybe about a 60-minute stint or 30, like a total of 60 minutes across the game. So looks like we do have a bit of utility value in our bench this time around.
quality comment here from Chris on YouTube. Appy's 200th game. I wonder what sort of barbecue he'll want. Joel, any player in particular you think is in for a big game this week?
Well, look, 200 games. You got to think Appy's up for it. I don't know. Buller's, I feel like he's due for a big game. He is sort of struggling because the halves constantly changing, and I feel like he's put in a lot more effort this year, trying to follow the halves, trying to follow the half back, Appy around and get an offload. But yeah, I think probably those two. I'm looking at Appy and Buller for a big game.
Slay Beatty on YouTube said the Fainu brothers at the same time will help get their game to the next level. Yeah, that'd be cool. Be a cool moment for them to. Eventually, we'll get the three in a row. We'll get our Burgess moment. We'll probably never get the fourth, but yeah, it'd be.
Did I read somewhere through the week that Appy's played with all four brothers?
Yeah, he's the only one apparently.
Yeah.
So, do you know how that works? How's Appy only? Has he played with one at a previous club? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so he played with Manasi in 2019, and obviously he's the one who's now incarcerated and will probably, highly likely never play NRL again. And all through this season, he's now had opportunities to play alongside Latu and Samuela and now Sione as well. And speaking of Sione, I've just brought up his player profile, and it does say he's primarily a prop. So I think that's probably going to be the sort of role he'll fill off the bench there.
It'd be cool once we have all three fit to have one in the halves or playing 9, one in the back row and one in the front row. That'd be cool. We kind of get a backline move. We get a 1, 2, 3 between the three boys. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
Right, take us through the Dolphins of no location provided.
Okay, so the big team change for the Finns that we kind of knew was coming at this time is the return of Hamiso Tabuai Fido at fullback. Jermaine Azarko and Jack. Yep, Jermaine Azarko and Jack Bostock are the wingers, with Jake Avarillo and Herbie Farmworth in the centres. Cody Nikarima and Isaiah Katoa are the halves. Jesse Bromwich and Mark Nichols are the props, with Jeremy Marshall King at hooker. Felice Kaufusi and Ewan Aitken are the second rowers, with Kenny Bromwich at lock. The bench is Josh Kerr, Kurt Donahue, Ray Stone, and Connolly Lemuelu. Trey Fuller, who was the substitute fullback, is the 18th man, with Sean O'Sullivan, Jared Wallace, Edric Lee, and Oren Keeley as the reserves.
Yeah, the Hammer coming back right on time for the West Tigers match, as is tradition. The star players return for the match against us, Joel.
Yeah, it was never going to be any other way. He could have broken both legs and still would have managed to come back for this game. It wouldn't have mattered.
As anyone other than the Hammer, because we kind of know. Look, this one, we played him, 5 weeks ago now?
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago. So, yeah, it's just a lot. So, how's the team different to then as? Have you seen the team that we got towed up by from them? How different is this one?
If you keep talking for a moment, I'll be able to pull that up.
Yes, as I said in the comments there, just so many points, so much speed in this team. So if it's a wet game, I haven't checked the weather for Brisbane. You think the turf after 9 games is going to be pretty choppy as well, Joel. Is there a way we can slow them down?
Well, yeah, a wet track would certainly help. But again, I haven't looked, and I'm going to assume it's probably going to be very dry. But again, I don't think we've played Magic Round. I don't think we've played the last game on Magic Round previously.
2 years. Yeah, Cowboys. The Cowboys, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Cowboys 2 years ago.
Yeah. Right. When we tackled the guy out in the corner and he flicked it back in somehow.
That was the try of the year try. That was that game.
Oh, against us. What are the chances?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Dolphins are such a strange team for me because they're full of like names that you know, but they're not necessarily big names. But it's because they've got Bennett as their coach. They sort of get up for anything. Slowing them down, it's gonna be hard. I think. Hopefully they've got a few. Well, hopefully Benji's in his brother's ear and asks him to sort of take it easy. But
Yeah.
aside from that, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, it's tough. It's a tough game for us. And I feel like it looks very similar to the last time we played them.
As did you work that out?
Yep, I've got that team open. So the backs 1 through 7 are the exact same. The first difference is Tom Flegler was one of the props and Mark Nichols was on the bench. The only other difference was Ray Stone on the bench. Everyone else, as per usual.
Ray Stone wasn't in the last game?
He wasn't. He was on the bench in the last game. He's not in the game this time around.
He's on the bench in this game.
Oh, no, he's on the bench.
Way.
He's in a different position, or different jersey number, I guess. So
yeah.
But
okay.
Well, Kenny Bromwich was originally named on the bench, but then came into the starting side, and Ray Stone was the one he swapped with. So Ray Stone was wearing jersey 13. Kenny Bromwich was wearing jersey 17. So those two switched positions.
Fingers crossed. I mean, keeping this one. I don't want to sound too depressed. The comments rolling in, everyone not liking our chances in this one. So I guess we'll have to see come Sunday night. Can the boys lift? Sometimes at Magic Round, there has been, we have been lucky or good. We've beaten the Dragons and beaten and Panthers. Was it Dragons and Panthers were beaten?
Yes, Dragons and Panthers, and hang on, we've won 3 out of 4. There's another one we played. We beat. Oh, the Knights.
Nice, that's it. Right, Statsman, what have you got for us for this one?
Did you put my ladder up that I made? Did you add it to the slides?
I didn't. As bear with me. I'll bring it up. What we'll do is
go back while you're doing that. Just head back to the team list for a sec.
Go. I'll bring it up.
I feel like the biggest issues we've got are probably a lot of the players who starred in that first game. Cody Nikarima and Isaiah Katoa in particular kind of went to town on us. Both contributed really well there. I think Jeremy Marshall King obviously also had a point to prove playing against his big brother Benji. So he had a really good game. Jesse Bromwich, Kenny Bromwich as well. I think they both starred quite well. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow scored a try off the run of... Who was that he scored off the run of? Was that Felice Kafusi? I think it might have been Felice Kafusi, but there was that try that really hurt us in the first half there. But Hamiso, he's got speed to burn, obviously, and hopefully his legs aren't too crash hot, and maybe he might be a little bit slower, might not have all of his pace this time around. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, it's we need a bit of luck. I mean, the official wise, we've said plenty about the officiating this year. Joel, do you think we've been a bit unlucky with everything this year? A lot of 50-50 calls?
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's that thing, and we all say it, that the lower teams never get the rub of the green. That hasn't changed for years, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. So, no doubt, we'll be on the wrong side of the penalties again this weekend. I don't want to say too much about the refs.
Righto, I should have it as is. He's worked hard on Statsman for this week, so I'll zoom that in a little bit more, but run us through it.
So I thought it'd be fun because we've had 4 Magic Rounds now. This is the 5th one. I thought it'd be a fun little idea to make a ladder just out of the results of all the Magic Rounds that have been played so far. I went into it kind of thinking Tigers would be a shoe-in for top 6. I didn't expect us to place 4th. So the Rabbits are the only team so far that haven't lost a game in Magic Round other than the Dolphins. That's with the Dolphins only playing 1. But yeah, the Rabbits are 4 from 4. I have a feeling that could possibly change this week because they aren't going all that crash hot. Then you've got the Panthers, the Broncos, the Tigers, the Raiders, and the Roosters, who've all won 3 each. I thought that was interesting. Some of the teams that are sort of on that same level as us. Two of our 3 wins were really decent wins. I think we had a 16-point win and a 26-point win potentially. And then we also had a 24-point loss to the Cowboys, which brought us down. So we're kind of in the middle of those teams. The Storm, the Cowboys, the Knights, and the Titans have all won 2 each. Keeping in mind that the Knights had the 2023 bye for Magic Round, so they didn't play. The Dolphins, they've only played the 1, and then the Warriors, the Eagles, the Sharks, and the Eels have all only won 1 each as well. I thought the Eels only winning 1 in Magic Round would make Josh very happy, and the fact that the first Magic Round, the big score of the first one in 2019 was the Storm belting the Eels to the tune of, I think it might have been 64-10, which was an absolute, I think that was a second half blitz. And the Bulldogs and the Dragons haven't won 1 yet. Obviously, the Dragons aren't going to be changing that record this year. I think it makes sense to give the Dragons the Magic Round bye. They've performed pretty terribly at it, and the Bulldogs get a chance in the first game on Friday to change that stat there and give themselves their first Magic Round win.
Riff Raff, our guy in Florida, says, "Nice work, Az. Stats man on fire." That's a hell of a lot of work you've done this one, man. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, top 4 will claim that one. Yeah, obviously, as you said, there's a couple of disclaimers. Obviously, Dolphins haven't had as many cracks at it as everyone else, and the buys and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think it'd make sense to award bye points for this particular ladder. So yeah, the Knights are just 2 out of 3 instead of 2 out of 4 like the others, and the Dolphins, well, they're just 1 out of 1. So,
well, even still, they'd be below us on for and against anyway if you gave them another 2 points. So there you go. So yeah, funny enough that Magic Round,
it's a ladder we're near the top of.
And if the Rabbits, I mean, they're not going too well, but yeah, the Eels down there, like you said, I'm happy. Look, there's nothing magical about that franchise. They're just nothing but boring sook. So yeah, that's very apt. The Parramatta Eels get no love up in Magic Round, and let's hope that tradition continues. I usually bring up the previous matchups. That hasn't actually logged our last game against the Dolphins, but as I said at the top of the show, 50-50 win rate against in our history, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, not bad, I suppose. Up against a new team, could be worse.
A 1 point win and a, what was it, 20? Was it? Ended up being a bit close. What was it? 18 points
12?
Last time. 12. Yeah, we got it a little bit closer.
Can I just say something with that thing you did, Az? Is fantastic. The concerning thing for me is Dolphins having played once, scoring or having a 20-point for and against.
They beat the Sharks. They absolutely creamed the Sharks last year. I think it was 32-12 or something along those lines.
Bandit Stradamus for this week. Someone suggested maybe go with Josh Stradamus. That might be the way to go. If you want to have a punt on the footy or anything, check out our partners at Chase Bet. If you go to westtigers.com.au, there's a big purple button. If you sign up through there and then message them in the chat, tell them that WestsLife podcast sent you, and they'll look after you. The great guys over at Chase Bet. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Righto. I was close last week. I had the former and current Tigers try scorer multi. I've done the same this week. I pulled Luke Garner out, and that'll probably curse me. Watch Luke Garner. If you want to add Luke Garner to this, go for it. Feeling Brooksy.
He did score last week, though, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Luke Garner and Teddy were my 2 former Tigers. They got up, but Samuel Afenu didn't get over. But with his brother in the side on debut this week, I'm feeling it. I'm going back to that well. So Samuela Fainu to score a try. He's playing in the back row. When they're playing in the back row and they play 80 minutes, is statistically more likely to score a try. But Brooksy for Manly, I reckon chuck Brooksy in there. I can see Brooksy getting over for a try. He might Stephen Bradbury his way to an Origin half spot as well. So maybe he'll have a bit of a extra bit of motivation for Brooksy up at Magic Rounds. So for this week, any thoughts on my bets, guys? Do I sound like an idiot? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Sam Weller's obviously the bit of the risky one because you didn't score last week and you've kept him in. Teddy,
I could have been a
there's
coward and gone Staines or something, but I like a back rower for a try. I like going because you get a little bit media odds, but you don't have the risk of them going. Well, usually don't have the risk of them going off the field.
What do you reckon about Appy instead of Sam Weller? Obviously, 200 games. He's been denied 2 in the last 3 weeks or so. Maybe this is the week he finally cracks the strike.
I had money on him to score last week, and I was extra fuming that he obviously had the try disallowed. I had, basically it cost me $100 win, that disallowed try. Oof. So, so F the bunker. Righto, let's get into the games for this week. For our tipping top line there, we've got Shane Cowett, our Patreon. He's leading our Patreon comp. And so while he's leading, I'm going to have him as our other tips up on the screen. As you and I have gone the doggies, he's gone the Raiders. Joel, let you take the first one. Doggies or Raiders in this one?
Yeah, this is one of the hardest ones to tip this round. This is a real difficult one. I think I might actually lean more towards the Dogs. Although do Canberra have a big game because Ricky Stewart re-signed? It's hard to say. But I'd probably say Dogs. I'll stick with you too.
Why have you gone Doggies?
I don't know. I just think there's a little bit more to like about the Dogs at the moment. The Raiders, I feel like there's still a few questions there, particularly with their injuries. They lost Jamal Fogarty recently, and obviously they had the bye last week. And teams have been a little bit slack or a little bit slow potentially coming off the bye. So I think the Doggies, they've been in some pretty good form. They had a really close loss to Penrith that they honestly could have won last week if they had scored a few points a little bit quicker than they did. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards the Dogs in this one.
My go-to is always home ground advantage, but that is obviously
it's out the window this week, isn't it?
Unless it's the Broncos who are playing away against the Manly Sea Eagles, which
again.
I think that's Friday night Magic Round against Manly. Look, I said Brooksy will score a try, but I don't think he's going to get a win. What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, can't see Manly winning up there with the loss of Turbo and everything. I think this is the point of the season for them where Turbo's injured. Now they sort of fall behind, and it'll start this week. Broncos will win.
And Shane's in the comments there. He said the Raiders always pump up for games like this. That's his theory behind going Raiders there. And who are we to question him? He's way out ahead of us. Titans, Knights. As you've gone Knights, Shane and I have gone Titans. Again, Knights are the favourites in this one, but I reckon with Fafita doing the backflip and them winning last week, they might have a fair bit of confidence playing in Queensland as well. I don't know. I feel like the Titans might be a bit on a roll, but you've gone Knights as.
Yeah, I do like the Titans in this one, but I'm a little bit concerned with all the injuries they copped out of that game last week against the Cowboys. They only just barely managed to hang on, and their bench was reduced to absolutely nothing. Their halves, both of their starting halves from that last game aren't playing this one, I believe, because they both copped injuries. So while the Titans have seemed to found a little bit of something that's working for them, I think the Knights and the form they're in, they've gotten on a bit of a roll. They've won 3 in a row. I think they could just pip the Titans at the post in this one.
Any thoughts on this one, Joel?
Yeah, another tough one. Knights, as you said, as 3 in a row without Ponga as well. But Titans winning last week, they've looked like they're going to win in the weeks leading up to last week. So they're playing well. But yeah, a lot of injuries. AJ Brimson's another one. I think he's out for like 8 to 10 weeks. Real tough. This is a toss of a coin for me. I might go Knights. 4 in a row.
We've all gone Chookies against, but the Sharks, they're still on top of the ladder. I don't even bother looking at the ladder anymore because it's depressing.
Yeah, they're on top.
But we've all the Chookies. I mean, fuck. When the Chookies, what will happen next? Will the Chooks lose a game or will we win a game? What will happen next?
Depends on the draw for both teams. I think. I don't know who the Roosters have coming up, but who knows? They might drop one. We might jag one. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Thoughts on this one, as Chooks for me? I can't tip against the Chooks at the moment.
Yeah, once again, I'm just looking at the Chooks forward pack and thinking, how the heck does anyone in the comp stop this absolute beast of a forward pack? Yeah,
the back line's awesome.
Yeah, the back line is great as well. Like, I still don't know how they fit the entire team under their salary cap, but question for another day. You can't deny the form the Sharks are in at the moment. I feel like the Sharks might drop another game soon, though. Obviously, they had a really good win against a rather undermanned Storm, obviously missing a lot of their spine players. And they got a little bit lucky, obviously, with the Harry Grant off to the sin bin call, which was absolutely bogus. So I feel like, yeah, maybe a little bit of luck there, and they only sort of just barely won. I mean, I know it was a 7-point win, but it didn't look all that convincing. So I'm still not 100% convinced by them, even though they're top of the table. So I feel like going with the Roosters is somewhat of a safe bet here.
We'll go through these a bit quicker. Cowboys, we've all got the Cowboys against the Rabbitohs. Joel, Cowboys heavy favourites this one. Playing in Queensland, the Rabbitohs are a hot mess this year.
Hard to pick against them. Cowboys, I'd go Cowboys.
Panthers heavy favourites against the Wars. The poor old Wars can't take a trick this year. The reigning premiers as pretty straightforward this one.
Yeah, the Wars team has been absolutely decimated. I don't remember if RTS is back. I think Sean Johnson might be out of this one. It's all pointing towards a Panthers win, I reckon.
This one here, my least favourite team versus my side piece team, I would say. At least 1/17th. 1/17th of their roster anyway. Storm heavy favourites against the Eels. We've all gone Storm in this one. It's a perfect chance for me to put Sean Bloor in your multi. I'm calling it. Sean's going to score a try this week. Just load up on ex-Tigers. That's what's going to be magical. By the end of the weekend, there'll be like 5 or 6 ex-Tigers that score tries. Jerry Marshall King against us as well. Just
hopefully
load up.
A couple current Tigers.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. But who will score more, current Tigers or ex-Tigers? That's actually not a bad idea for a bet. I might
a market.
I'll speak to Chase Bet, see if they can do a market for that. Yeah, anyone want to argue for the Eels this one, Joel?
Nah, the Melbourne Bloors will win.
The Melbourne Bloors, I like it. And of course, we're all cowards. We've all gone Dolphins. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. If Papa got off his suspension, I might have convinced myself, but just too many people out, too much firepower, and they scarred me watching the game. With my son is he's 3.5 now, and he can recognize the teams now, and it's getting to the point now where he likes. Look, this happened to my brother as well. He liked the Sharks, and my little brother eventually changed, joined the rest of the family. He's now a Tigers fan. Now my son, I'm going through it with my son, who says the Sharks are his favorite team, but he also likes the Dragons and the Broncos, and he's 3.5. So not too worried just yet.
The teams sound cool.
And then Saturday night, I'm watching. Obviously, the Tigers were up first, and then my wife and him were out doing something. They come home, and the Sharks have just won. And he walks up to the TV, and he's like, "Oh, did the Tigers win?" And I'm like, "No, buddy, the Tigers lost." "Oh, did the Sharks win?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the Sharks won." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "Damn it, I've got to turn the TV off. I just got to I should just ban Cronulla Sharks from my house at the moment because he's starting to be fond
They're
of the
corrupting
Sharks.
him.
And I need the Tigers to get their shit together because I could go, my son's watching the games now. Like, I took him to the Bulldogs game. We were so close. We could have had that experience of, the Tigers won. They actually can win a game. We walk out losers to the Bulldogs. Come on, Tigers. I really needed something I can take back to my son and say, "Come on, son. Join the rest of the family. I'm a Tigers fan. Your mum's a Tigers fan."
Young lad.
But I don't know. Joel, any chance? Are we any chance in this one?
Real tough one. I can't really see us winning. I'm with you guys. I never actually bet with my heart. I always bet with my head. So
I'm not over it.
Dolphins for me. You may have mentioned this earlier, and I missed it when I was not here. But Dolphins haven't played south of the Queensland New South Wales border yet, and we're round 11. They've done very little traveling. They've gone to Darwin, is the furthest they've been. So I think that it gets to a point where that actually helps them a lot, and other teams are traveling a lot. So yeah, if that has anything, I'll blame the loss on that.
Trevor said, "Show your son the Tigers v Sharks game," and so did Emmanuel. So that's what I might do. I might just put a replay of round 3? Just put that on the TV and say, look, we beat the Sharks. Don't worry about your Sharks, but you're a Tigers fan. Just put on that on repeat every weekend. He won't know. He won't know that difference. He's watched bloody Lightning McQueen 100 times. He doesn't care. Righto, on. Yeah, kids watch things 100 times. They don't care. New South Wales Cup. So they're doing a Magic Round at North Sydney Oval this weekend, and we are the Sunday 11 a.m. game taking on the filthy Parramatta Eels. Former Tiger Zach at fullback for them there. If you want to see guys like Josh Vellaty for Tarpe, they got the big win last week against the Knights as well. So hopefully confidence. Alex Lobsy there. Noah Ryan at halfback. I don't know much about. Obviously, Fainu's moving up. I don't know too much about Noah Ryan. I can only assume he's come from right at Eastwood and moved up. So yeah, I don't know.
I think he might have been the one who came into the squad for the Dogs game a couple of weeks ago. We had, I think, when when Jake came into the first grade team, they had Noah Ryan brought in, and he was wearing jersey number 19 or something.
I do know Ryan. There you go. Jordan Miller. Keep an eye out for him. I enjoyed watching him last week. Talons De Silva coming off the bench. So a few young kids to keep an eye on. And speaking of young kids, Jersey Flag, they all have the bye because they have city country reps. So good luck to them. Patreon.com/WestsLife. Let's smash through. Where shall I leave the page? I'll just set the page. There we go. I'll leave our beautiful members up on there. Let me go into the Discord and see what the guys have for us this week. To see Riff Raff. He said, "I never let my kids consider another team. Make it a family rule. Thou shalt not." Mate, that is the rule in my family. We're all Tigers fans in my family. Literally, you like the whole family. My dad, my mum was, both my grandfathers. Like I had no choice. So
get used to it, kids. You're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, and kids today, like I see so many kids. We, as and I, live in the, I guess, the Parramatta, well, kind of between Parramatta and Tigers area. See Panthers jerseys everywhere. It's like, you've probably never even been to Penrith. Like, stop being bandwagoners. Kids these days, bring back the cane, all that stuff. Just the one. No, don't hit your kids with a cane. I'm only joking. Just Shane. Hi, guys. I'm glad I left my rant till today. I was pretty shitty over the weekend. In hindsight, injuries played their part on the weekend. Lost. I'm still not happy with Benji and our attacking plays. I still ask, what are they doing at training? I'm a bit numb and everything West Tigers at present. Whilst I didn't think we will win more than 5 games this year, I still find myself disappointed. I can only put it down to such a great start of the year by us onwards and upwards. Yeah, we feel your pain.
It's the nail on the head there,
Jono. Yeah, it kind of sums up nicely how we're all feeling at the moment. But who knows? It's Sunday night. We turn up again. We turn the TVs on again. Safe trip to anyone flying up to Brizzy. So, have you been to Magic Round before, Joel?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, every year I'm like, really want to go, but yeah, maybe next year. So, yeah, good luck to anyone heading up there. Hopefully, you leave Sunday night with the Tigers win. We'll see what happens. But Joel, good on you, Canva. Bloody turn me slides off. One last thing to go wrong for the night. Thanks for viewing. Yes, Joel, thank you for coming on again tonight.
No worries.
We got it sorted. It was a rough start, and then we got the you got the dongle out. Thank you, Telstra. If you're listening, you saved the day for us. So
thanks for having me, guys. Thanks, everyone.
And any parting words?
Yeah, no, just good luck to everyone who's heading up there. Hope you enjoy what is going to be an absolute festival of footy. Quick shout out and good luck to our New South Wales Blues girls as they get their 3-game series underway tomorrow night. I think that's going to be an absolute cracker. So good luck especially to our West Tigers representatives, Kezi Apps and Sarah Togatuki. Bring on a great weekend of magical footy.
I didn't even think I should have put Kezi Apps for a try as well in the multi. I reckon she's a beast. Get on Kezi to score a try. Righto. Go the Blues, and as always, boys, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife podcast.